Hello everyone and welcome to whatever number episode of Sight Reading Maverick this is. Let's see, we have a very booked show today. I don't think I'll be able to get to everything that's on my list, which I should add that the list of things that I have on my plan is listed below the video in addition to their scores. So without further ado, I want to just go ahead and launch into the show. If you do have any sound issues, please do let me know in the chat box. That does help me to know what's going on during the show, especially since some weird things have been happening lately. All right, the first piece on today's program is a piece by Pietro, Domenico, Paradies. And this is actually a request of mine. I usually don't know how I come. Oh, I read one of his toccatas, which I think is one of his more famous pieces. I read that a while ago, and I quite liked it. So I did a little bit of reading about him, found out he wrote quite a few sonatas actually, and decided I wanted to try one today. So this is his C minor sonata for harpsichord, and I don't know how long it is. Looks like the first movement is an andante, and then it looks like we have a very short minuetto as the second movement. So, all right, C minor. This andante has mostly 16th note figurations in the right hand. Goes into the left hand just a little bit, but because it's andante, of course, I don't want to take too quick a tempo. I want these 16th notes to be probably lyrical. I do see that there's lots of little trills and some other ornamentation, so I will do those as I can. I also do see towards the end of the first half, there's a little bit of an odd notation. So I'm looking at that. Turns out it's just a syncopated rhythm. The right hand will be offset by from the left hand by 1/16th note, with the left hand being that rhythmic foundation. The right hand will have the syncopation. And that syncopation lasts for a little bit over a measure. So I'm aware of that. And that does happen at the end of the second half as well, not surprisingly. All right, this looks like a good way to warm up, so let's go. Choosing a tempo here. So I'm thinking of these 16th notes, but then also that syncopated section. Again, an andante. I don't want it to be too edgy. Since it's an andante. 3 and That was quite meandering, but that had some interesting things in it. Yeah, so that was nice. So let's continue reading on to this little minuetto that he's tacked on as the second movement. I do see that Louis is here. Bonsoir, Louis. And also hello to Ilona. Guten Abend to you. And to Procrasta Practice. I haven't seen you on here before, but welcome. Oh my goodness, all these people. I'm going to keep reading for now, but keep sharing where you're from and saying hello. All right, the minuetto is in C major, so that's a nice little surprise. In this, we have all eighth notes and not as many accidentals, but there are some little grace notes. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do those. All right, let's see, what else can I find? Harmonically, it looks really straightforward. I don't see anything else that's jumping out at me, no odd rhythms. So let's just give it a go. So a minuetto, there's no trio or anything, nice and short. 1, 2, 3. Straightforward. However, there was one thing that threw me off both times. Where was it? Second half. Fine. Oh, here it is. I don't know. It seems like it makes perfect sense now that I take a second to look at it, but I had a little trouble with a grace note there. More people here. And Nick made it. Great, 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 great. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. Nick, you made it right on time because I'm about to play one of your requests. So Nick has requested, if I can get, oh, you know what? I left something off the list, but I'm just going to go with it. And now I don't know what it says on YouTube, but oh my goodness, my whole thing is out of order. No. Okay, hang on with me here. I don't know what I've done. Oh my goodness. Nick, I thought I was going to do a request of yours. We will see. Because I've managed to do something very silly. Oh dear. Okay, there's that. This was what happens when I'm moving too quickly. All right. Here it is. I got it. Somewhat. Oh my goodness. At least I thought. All right, this is what happens when I do things at the last second. Okay, yes. So back to Nick's request. Reginald De Koven, he has written quite a bit, and actually he sounds like he's German, and he might be in his background, but he was an American composer. And Nick requested several pieces. The first I'm going to do right now are from his in minor mode pieces, and he requested number 3 and number 4. I am an absolute mess today. Yes, so it's the first one, number 3, is in D minor. So let's give this one a whirl. Andante con moto. And by the way, the list in the program order might be wrong or different from what I'm doing. We're just going to wing it from here on out. Andante con moto. Right hand and the left hand kind of do a duet, it seems here. And then the alto has this syncopated thing going against it. So I'm going to want to make sure that this syncopated alto line doesn't get too loud and obnoxious. I want to focus on this melody. It does change meter here and there, but I think it's mostly just to add a little bit of kind of rubato in here. Second page, because there's only 2 pages. Nothing too out of the ordinary. We do have a section towards the end that moves forward, it looks like. So let's give it a whirl. 8th notes are the fastest note values. So I'm thinking. That might be a little fast. I don't know. We'll try that tempo. May not work exactly. Nice and very straightforward. Yeah, I got thrown off by a C flat marked near the end. I just don't often see C flats, I think, so it just threw me off, and the page is wonky right there. Yeah, and I didn't like my pacing at the end, but anyway, whatever. Nice. So let's read the one in G minor, which is the next one. This looks like a little bit more upbeat. This is a poco ma non troppo, and poco scherzando, allegro ma non troppo. So not too fast. Yay! I always like it when it says that. This looks quite dance-like. How many pages is it? 3 pages. And since it's a dance, it looks like the left hand is going to be just very straightforward. Kind of looks like a waltz-like thing. And then you've got this eighth note gesture in the right hand at the beginning, comes back at the end. Then the rest is a little bit more sparsely written. So it goes into A flat major on the second page. It does not change key signature though. So I'm kind of reminding myself of that. And it's poco animando, so a little bit more motion in there. All right, let's give it a go. I'm going to take this a little bit at a clip to wake us all up, including myself, and just for fun. So, 1, 2, 3. Straightforward and quite nice. Yeah, I liked that. One of my goals in reading this one, because it seemed a little bit more straightforward, is I noticed it had a lot of different directions about pushing the tempo and that type of thing. So I wanted to see if I could be a little bit more on the ball about those this time, because sometimes I use the excuse of sight reading to not pay attention to those details. And we can get out of the habit, right? So I think I also need to practice trying to catch those in addition to reading the notes. So great. Thank you, Nick, for that request. And we're going to do another one of yours. I think I'm totally messed up, but we'll try to do another one of yours a little bit later on. All right. Yeah, I am so off. I was going to do a piece by Konstantin Eiges. I don't know how to say his last name, but I don't think I put it in the order on YouTube. So I'm going to skip it for right now. If somebody can confirm whether or not I have a piece by Konstantin listed, that would be really helpful. Otherwise, we're going to go to a request that Louis made, which is Richard Strauss's Sonata, his Opus 5 Sonata. And he requested the second movement. He may have requested another one, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to read the second movement today. I have never heard a Strauss sonata, I don't think, so this is intriguing. The second movement is an Adagio cantabile in E major. We've got some syncopated stuff going on in the inner voices again. And it looks like we've got a beautiful melody in the right hand and a nice bass line, very celloistic in the left hand, in the bass. So at least at the beginning. Sometimes 3/8 can throw me off, not so much anymore, but I do like to make sure I've got my everything, all my eggs in a basket. No, that's not the right phrase. Everything lined up in my head. Doesn't look too crazy harmonically, which is helpful. It does get a little thick on the second page. And it looks like the tenor line is going to have a bit of the melody, so I'm going to want to focus on that. Okay, goes into E minor or G major in the second section, and the rhythm at first is throwing me off. So I'm quickly doing my math to make sure I know where the 8th note beats are. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it. Oh my gosh, okay, this page is a little freaky. It's very black. So when I have moments like that, I try to find something that makes it a little bit easier for me. Looks like the hands are just doubling each other, so that makes me feel a little bit better. And the skeleton, the foundation of the piece, is the main motive that we've already done. So I'll lock onto that. Then we go back to the beginning material. All right, let's give it a whirl. Thank you, Nick. Okay, well, we'll do that one next. Oh my gosh, okay. Yep, bum. I think those 30-second notes in the middle section have to go a nice tempo to be grazioso. So that's going to be the basis of my tempo. Yep, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, that was sort of interesting. I think I took it too quickly. That's probably the main point I need to say at this point. Yeah, as soon as I got started into that first section, I realized that there was a more prominent tenor line than I had seen before I started, and then I really wanted to have this duet between the soprano and the tenor, and then everything went out the window because I was so distracted and then flustered by it. But so that middle section was kind of disastrous, and then by the time I got to the end, I was like, okay, I'm really determined. I'm gonna get it. So I think it went a little better to that return to the A section, but yeah, I think it needs to go slower. Anyway, all right, so since I did list these pieces by Konstantin, I'm going to go ahead and do them because they're a little bit different, it seems. And I don't know much about them, so I'm just going to play them. Oh, and thank you, Louis, for that request. The other movements looked interesting too, just not as sight-readable. All right. So these are pieces written, I believe, for children. Again, I don't even have it listed in my little lineup, so I don't know what I was doing. But I think it says there what they are. Okay, so 4 little pieces, and I think I'm just going to read these. Well, whatever. The first one looks very straightforward, so I'm going to read the first one. The second one has a little bit of an interesting rhythm thing in here. Goes between triplets and duples, so that should be interesting. So before I start, I want to make sure I have that in my head, so I get started off on the right foot at least. There's also some grace notes. And this is also andante. I seem to be playing things too quickly today, so I'll try not to. 1, 2. So far, I really like these. I think these could be good sight reading pieces for students, which is partly why I'm doing this. I'm always on the hunt for good pieces to work on with people. Oh, this one makes me a little scared. Okay. I'm going to do it anyway. It's in F sharp, so 6 sharps, and there gets a very tangly section near the middle. So that's what I'm going to look at first. Before I do it. It looks tangly and has all these accidentals, but really it's just going to B flat major. Doesn't change the key signature, so there's tons of accidentals marked in. And then C sharp minor. All right, well, let's see if that helps. Okay. assuming they're supposed to be staccato the first two notes. Kind of hard to tell. I'm going to try to redeem myself. Let's see. I probably won't. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, well anyway, that was amusing. Okay, this one looks much kinder. G minor. Moderato. Say they're anything real special, but I do think they're really good reading pieces. So that is good to know that those exist. I did like that last one especially. So, all right, I probably wouldn't do that third one again, but now it's just because that was way too scary. All right, next is a request that Louis made. It's very, very short, and this is going along with his polka theme. And this is a polka by Richard Wagner. Who knew that he wrote a polka? And it's only 4 lines long. It's in G major. So Louis, I'm going to give you extra time to get ready to do your polka, by the way. I'll talk a little bit. Just joking. Looks like we've got alternating sections of fast and slow. So that's good to know. Looks very repetitive. We do have some octaves at the end. So that'll be kind of fun. A lot of times I leave one note of the octave out just because. Louis says he really likes polkas. I think I figured that out, Louis. That's awesome. Okay. So this should be fun because of the fluctuating tempos. So let's just go ahead and read it. And when I got reading into it, I realized that you had fast, slow, and then it's not marked whether or not to go back to fast. So I don't know if you could tell, but I was just playing around with the tempo because I had no idea. That was funny. Okay, well, that was interesting. Louis, oh, he has some little interesting notes in here. So be sure to read Louis's little note in there. That's great, Louis. All right. Yeah, now I get to know who your namesake is. All right, thanks for requesting that little polka, Louis. Next, we go to another request of Nick's, which is by the same composer I read earlier, Reginald De Koven. Oh my goodness. Me and my pronunciation. And it's his romance from his Opus 379, number 2. 5 flats, so we're looking at D flat major or B flat minor. I think it's going to be D flat major based on the looks of it. And as I'm singing it in my head a little bit at the beginning. It's a little bit dense, so that should be interesting. And I see quite a few accidentals. In the second section, we do go to B flat minor. And the melody is going to be in the left hand. So that's good to know. And it's faster, allegro moderato. We've got some 16th notes on the 3rd page. So that'll help with the tempo. And then it goes back to the opening material. But it combines some of the second section material too. Cool. Andante con moto. Andante with motion and singing. interesting. I'm going to divulge what's going on in my head today. For some reason, every time I make a mistake, I'm making the fatal error of dwelling in the past. And that doesn't always happen to me when I'm sight reading, but I think it's a very typical thing that we have to fight on some days. So I'm actually working at, even though that's my tendency today, to tell myself to keep going. But that's quite a lovely piece and interesting. It felt a little unusual for me, the difference between, or did I just slip into 4/4 somewhere? No, it was this, there's this 1-2-4 measure, and it really, really threw me off. So I missed that I had even gone back to the first section. So anyway, it's on page 6 if you're curious. I think maybe that's what partially threw me off too. Anyway, excuses. All right, I programmed way too much on the show today. This is not good. So now I'm faced with what do I do next? We have about 12 minutes left. So I think I'm going to skip to the Elizabeth von Herzogenberg set of pieces. I really want to do this sonatina eventually, so maybe I'll make sure it goes on next week's show. But we're going to do Elizabeth's pieces. So she was married to a composer, and I might play some of his pieces. I actually had that on my list too, but we're going to do hers today, if I can find them. There they are. Yeah, so she's an interesting composer, and she only has this one set listed on IMSLP. I'm not sure how much else she wrote. I think she may have written some songs. Sandra, if you happen to be watching, I think you know more about her than I do. But let's go ahead, and because we're at the end of the show, I'm just going to read. So I'll start with number 2, A major, Allegretto. There were several in there that I really, really enjoyed. several passages in there that I really enjoyed. Some interesting harmonic twists. So that was fun. All right, let's keep reading. Since there are 8 of them, I won't get to all of them, obviously. And some of them look really hard. Including this one looks hard. I don't think it's going to be as hard as I think. The left hand has me a little bit nervous. But I'm going to try to make sure it's all just harmonic movement. So just try to capture those and improvise around that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that tempo. I think that'll be adequate. That's really, really hard to sight read. Oh my gosh. Okay, well that's fun. That would be one I would need to work out. But anyway, okay, that was number 3. I see Sandra must be here. Yes, I'm doing it now. I love the time delay. All right, here's number 4, B flat major. It's not a good tempo day for me. Okay, yeah, I don't want to do this too fast either because it gets really chromatic, and I don't think that would sound good. something like that. Oh my goodness. Okay, today's not the best reading day for me. I think I'm going to skip number 5. And we're going to skip to number 6, which is an andante. And there's, as I look, there's a vivace section in the middle. All right, whatever. Goodness, this show's been a little bit trickier than some are, but I did enjoy those pieces quite a bit. Yeah, I think I was going to stop there anyway. So Really interesting set of pieces. I'm inspired to work on them a little bit more and take it out of just the sight reading realm because they're a little bit dense, at least for me today, to sight read. But I hope you at least got a glimpse of them. So looks like Alona enjoyed that. Yay! And Sandra at Piano Music She Wrote said that unfortunately very little of hers was published, and I'd be curious to know how much she actually recorded. There is one of these pieces recorded, at least one of them, on our Piano Music She Wrote YouTube channel. So do check that out if you want to hear more notes. So thank you everyone for joining me today. And if you have any requests that you think of that are on IMSLP, do send them my way this week, and I will try to get them on the show either next week or on a future week. So thanks to everyone who contributed requests this week, to Nick and to Louie. And yeah, happy sight reading.